On Friday 23rd of May, the new National Fairground Museum opened at Statfold, in Staffordshire. Located in the already established tourist attraction of Statfold Country Park, famous for its narrow-gauge railway. In just over 6 months, the National Fairground Museum was closed in Dingles, moved and reopened at Statfold. Greeting visitors as they walk up to the venue this year is John Wheatley Jr.'s Lighthouse slip. Once inside, visitors can find some of the best preserved fairground rides in the country. These include Robert Edwards and Sons Super Speedway. The ride was built by Burton on Trent-based Orton and Spooner in 1934 for Robert Edward and Sons. The Speedway features a large front and flights on the inside, all lit with traditional bulbs. The Speedway still goes at a pretty decent speed, for which the ride was famous for. Simon Harris and Kevin Scriven's Gallopers can be found to the other side of the entrance. They have owned the ride since 2001. The Gallopers were built by Walkers in 1911 and were located at the Iron Bridge Museum before coming to the National Fairground Museum in Statfold. The Moon Rockets are perhaps the most famous ride in the National Fairground Museum. The ride was built by Lakin and Maxwell in 1939 for Shaw's. In 1954 the swinging cars were added, giving the ride a distinctive look. The ride would travel to some of the biggest and most famous fairs in the country, until its final opening with Shaw's at Nottingham Goose Fair in 1982. After being restored by Keith Maiden, the ride would open to the public again at various steam rallies, with the Moon Rockets being a regular feature at Lincoln Steam Fair for many years. The Moon Rockets was acquired by the Fairground Heritage Trust in December of 2016, and would open at Dingles in 2017. Here it ran with many of the other rides until 2024. It is great to see this famous and fast ride move to the new National Fairground Museum in Statfold. Around the corner is the Ghost Train. This is one of the oldest ghost trains in the country, and one of the few remaining ones in original condition. Built in 1947 by the amusement supplies company for John Stevens, the ride would travel for many years with John Brett. In 1994, the ride was acquired by Kevin Gamlen, and opened at Dingles in 2010. Once the Ghost Train arrived in Statfold, Tom Tuley set about restoring the spectacular front. Inside the Ghost Train, the ride features several effects and scenery on the walls, which are illuminated by UV lighting, and is considered one of the best examples of a historic ghost train in the country. In the back room, the major attraction is the Dodgems. Built by Orton and Spooner for Robert Edwards and Sons in 1932, the track became part of the Fairground Heritage Trust in 1993. This is one of the few Dodgem tracks that still feature its substantial flash, and as one of the biggest Dodgem tracks in the country, it is bound to prove popular with riders of all ages. For those who don't want to spin around, also in the back room are games to play, where visitors can test their skill on these vintage games, and win a prize. There are also 2 arcades filled with vintage 2-pence arcade machines to play. There are plans to add more rides and attractions from the collection, including the Edwards skid built in 1936, and the 1880 rodeo switchback, which they hope to add in future years. The National Fairground Museum in Statfold is open throughout the season. More details on opening times and prices can be found on their website. The link can be found in the description.